Hey, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, I meant hi, babe.
Oh, hey.
And then, hey, everyone.
Okay.
Welcome to the 4th episode of Schooled.
Welcome. Oh,
On today's episode, I am going to be talking about the history of money.
all right. And I'm going to do solving problems or getting ideas in your sleep.
Oh, I've totally done that before.
Done this podcast?
No,
Oh,
with my last
okay.
boyfriend.
So then this topic's fresh for you? Okay. And just want to make sure. Okay.
That's interesting. I can't wait to hear about it. So click on the link below if you want to watch the full version of this podcast so you don't miss a second, and subscribe to the channel because we do this every week.
It's true.
And most of the time we reference old podcasts in the current podcast, which
Yeah.
I know I'm doing a couple of times today.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Okay. So I wanted to start with another email.
I should know by now that you're going to.
You should know. So
There's nothing sacred in our relationship.
No. Well, I mean, there's a few things.
Okay.
So on last week's episode, you sent me 3 emails. Actually, do you want to tell this story or should I?
No, you're good.
I'm okay. You sent me 3 emails in an attempt to get me 3 different links, and you kept messing up the emails. And in one of the emails, you said that you hope this ruins our collaboration.
No, I said I hope it does impact our future something in collaboration.
Yeah.
But I meant to say does not.
Okay. And so you owed
ruin.
me an apology email. So
I did.
I have not read this email.
Okay, I was going to say I sent it.
I know, but I didn't want to
Okay.
read it.
All right.
Because it's just more funny when I don't.
Oh boy.
So this is an apology email
Yeah.
for wishing doom upon our
Yeah,
relationship.
I think so.
Okay. So I'm gonna read the email.
It's been a couple minutes, literally, since I sent it.
Should I try and have you pull it up again?
No, that was horrible.
All right. So I'm gonna read this email that you sent to me, the apology email. Dearest Jen, we've gone from Jennifer to Jen. Thanks. I just wanted to follow up with you on an action item I took during the friendly banter from our last podcast discussion. You may recall that I had emailed you some supporting documentation about a topic of mine from a previous podcast regarding the oldest Homo sapiens fossil found to date.
Thanks, Julian.
Thanks,
Julian Miguel. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Julian.
With the pronunciation.
The purpose of the before mentioned email was to add the information to the podcast notes in case an interested listener wanted to discredit or shame me on airs, which we encourage.
Yes, we do.
Friendly banter is always nice. Or in a more positive light, further research the topic to enrich their knowledge or lives. Yeah, that is a more positive light. During the information sharing process, I experienced several mishaps, which caused me to send no less than 3 emails to complete the transaction. Caught up in the embarrassment, I committed another blunder where my attempts to apologize to you in the second email were halted when I wrote, I hope the multiple email error does, bolded and underlined, impact our future interactions and collaborations. The mistake was further amplified when, unbeknownst to me, you decided to...
What?
First of all, the word unbeknownst is just like a funny word.
Yeah, it is.
But you using it in an email makes me laugh.
Okay.
Even
well,
more.
Good.
Okay.
That's why I send stupid stuff to you, to make you laugh.
You do. The mistake was further amplified when, unbeknownst to me, you decided to read all 3 emails out loud to the audience to highlight my frequent technology challenges. You're welcome.
Thanks.
All said, I would like to take this opportunity to clear the air and assure you that the erroneous sentence should have read does not impact our future interaction and collaborations. I am sorry. I hope this admission of error and humble offering of words will ensure that my mistake does not, bolted and underlined, impact our future interactions and collaborations. Kindest regards, Brian.
So are you accepting my apology?
Yes.
Okay,
But
thank you.
you did something really terrible here.
I reread the thing 3 times to make sure I didn't have any errors.
Wow. But let me just tell you that you are setting quite the precedence for apology emails.
Oh man.
Oh
Considering I have to do it
no.
every couple hours.
Gosh. You gotta,
This
Brian,
is going to get rough.
you gotta keep that bar low.
So I should have just sent you like I'm sorry and that's it.
Yo, babe, I'm really sorry for what I said.
Okay.
Stay cool.
I'll try and dial it
Have
back.
a great
I'll try and
summer,
dial it back a couple
Brian.
sentences every time and then get to one.
No, this is the bar.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was also, and I think this was the last episode. I could be wrong. You correct me if I am. You had a really great idea for a social intelligence experiment.
Yeah. It was like social awareness, emotional intelligence, logic, problem solving, all wrapped into one that was outside of our standardized testing
Yes.
system that already existed in schools.
Basically, it was testing people's social awareness to enhance the intelligence test that we already take today to get well-rounded individuals, basically to see how fast they move away from the door at Target.
Yeah.
Or off an escalator was mine.
Right.
Go check it out. It's actually a really great episode. I thought it was. I had another idea for an experiment.
All right.
And
I'm excited.
I think that parents, not just us, I think that parents around the world could benefit from this experiment and go try it out on their own just to see.
I can't wait.
If
this is great.
If it works. So I wanted to combine.
Parenting's hard. Anything that would help.
Parenting is real hard. I wanted to combine 2 of your favorite things with 2 of your least favorite things.
Okay.
And see how they could maybe complement each other.
All right.
Wait, do you want to take a guess on what I think 2 of your favorite things are?
Oh man. Mexican food.
Oh.
No, I'm never going to be able to guess. I like a lot of stuff, so.
Okay. 2 of your favorite things are our children.
Oh yeah, that's what I should have said first.
Maybe you just weren't thinking of them as things.
Yeah, that's true.
And
okay, thanks for letting me off the hook.
You're welcome. And Fish, the band.
Oh yeah, Fish
with
band.
a PH.
Yep.
Okay. And what are your 2 least favorite things, do you think? This is like, what's that marriage show? Like, where you like write down the answers and then you like,
the Newlywed Show. Yeah.
God, we should totally do that. What do you think your 2, Brian's 2 least?
Just based on this interaction, that's hard because I have no idea what you're going to say.
Okay. What do you think? I think your 2 least favorite things are.
I don't know.
Okay. Dang it.
I feel like I complain a lot, so it could be anything.
Close. I said nagging our children.
Yes, I hate nagging our children.
And cleaning the house. Okay?
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of come up with an experiment that might combine all of those things into one aspect. Okay?
Wow. This is great.
I know. So what I thought we could do, and I had two options. We could either play fish on all of our Sonos until the children complete their chores.
This is awesome.
Yes. Because they hate fish.
But that punishes you too.
No, it doesn't. I get a clean house in the end.
Okay, so you can stomach it for a little bit.
I can stomach it, and we can even switch to...
Can I pick one of the like 40-minute long songs?
I know. You made a joke that we could drive from A to B and listen to one fish song.
Yeah.
It was really funny. So we're going to tell them we're going to play this fish music
Okay.
one time until they're done with whatever their chores may be. I think that's an experiment. And
I love it.
I think they
And
might
then we
move.
don't have to nag.
No nagging,
This is fantastic.
right? It's a
And
win.
they can get it over with real fast if they just stop what they're doing. And
It's a win, win, win.
so so my man Trey is actually going to be the one doing the nagging.
Who's Trey?
He's the lead singer.
Oh, okay. I knew that.
All right, I love it.
Okay. Yeah. You get to listen to Fish. We don't have to nag our kids. At the end, we get a clean house. Maybe so I don't get punished also, I'll just go get like a mani-pedi while all of this is happening.
All right.
And if that doesn't work, then we'll just go shut off the internet until it's done.
That's also effective. That would be really effective.
So
I love that. I love the
hashtag awesome
experiment.
parenting.
I love the experiment. I can't wait.
All right. Okay. I'm excited.
Me too.
All right. The history of money.
Do you want me to? I actually did bring a topic
Oh.
to the table.
Gosh. I'm excited. Tell me about
I
your
mean,
topic.
I'm really excited about history of money. Don't get me wrong. We could just skip this if you want.
No, I love your weird brain.
This isn't weird at all.
I fell in love with you because of your weird brain.
Aww.
Okay, I'm betting this is real weird.
So I frequently wake up in the middle of the night and wonder.
Do you solve problems in your sleep?
No, but it is interesting that this is also my topic. I wonder about the East Coast, West Coast rap battle / rivalry from like the 90s.
I think they arrested someone.
Well, yeah, Tupac got killed. I mean, come on.
Right.
There's a lot going on here.
Right.
So, and I just wish it would have been handled differently because I think there's so much talent from both coasts.
Okay.
I love East Coast and West Coast. There's what's not to like about the coasts.
I've never been to the East
So it didn't
Coast.
have to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I was trying to think of a way to like kind of scientifically look at this situation and like come up with like who's actually better.
Better.
Or is there a better?
We're gonna be on the next hit list.
So
hate mail.
No,
bring
I don't think
it on.
No, but I do think this definitely asks an interesting question. You know, people are going to have their heated opinions about it.
Okay.
So here's the problem. I was like, okay, I could analyze their lyrics. But like you've got rappers that rap really fast, and then you've got rappers that rap slow, but their words are more impactful, in my opinion. So like, how do you do like an apples to apples comparison? So what I did was I analyzed some rappers from both coasts, and I took an excerpt of their songs and directly made it into a haiku format because I wanted to take the wordiness / impactfulness out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to boil it down to the nuts and bolts.
Okay.
So a haiku, of course, it's the what is it? I already forgot.
575.
Is it 575? Here, I had to write it down because I'd never remember what lyrics I picked. Yeah, it's 575, and it's obviously from like Japan in the 9th to 12th centuries.
Can I just say one thing before you read your haiku?
Yeah, there's several haikus because I had to get apples to apples.
I find this interesting that you consider the lyrics of the music more important than the beat or the
First of all, I don't.
The music of it all, because you don't know the lyrics to some of your favorite songs.
Right, I don't.
Okay.
Because I actually do like the music better, but that would have been subjective too, because you've got like, how do you measure beats? Like, oh, this beat's better than this. Like, it's all, I wanted to see, I guess this is another way to put it. I wanted to see what the core message and values of each coast's singers were,
okay,
or rappers were.
Okay.
And then compare them to see if, is this person's values better than this one? Therefore they're the better coast. I that's what I wanted to see.
Okay.
So I tried to just keep it like just using language,
Okay. Read me these haikus.
All right. So here's my West Coast breakdown.
And wait, I'm sorry. Who are the rappers on the West Coast?
Oh, it's like Tupac. We got Lil Wayne.
Okay.
well, you'll see because I picked some.
Okay.
But on the East Coast, you've got
No, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
okay, you got Biggie,
Okay.
the Notorious B.I.G.
I understand.
You've got oh man, you're
Biggie,
putting me
biggie,
on the spot.
biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hit
You
me
got
fast.
Jay-Z. You got
Okay. Oh.
it's like that whole crowd there.
Okay.
P Diddy was I don't know. I doubt that's his name still, but
Mm,
anyways,
Sean Puffin. I don't know.
you know what I'm saying though,
I
right?
do. I do.
So okay, here's my West Coast analysis.
Okay.
First one, Lil Wayne. This is from the song Mo Fire. By the way, this took a while because I had to like go through song lyrics and find the 575 format.
I love this.
Just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So for the song Mo Fire, yeah, I'm getting stacks. These bitches is really rats. Yeah, I'm really Mac. Okay. So the recap.
Okay.
Lil Wayne likes money.
Yeah. Okay.
He
Oh,
like
stacks of money.
yeah, he likes
Okay.
women
Sure.
and he's kind of a pimp
All right.
because he's like, he's like,
So he hit
yeah,
of.
I really Mac.
Oh, okay.
He's
So
like
I
I'm a
was
pimp.
about ready to say of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, he hit two of the three. So
Well, yeah, and then I really Mac, so
yeah.
he's like, it's not, and when I say pimp, I don't mean he's like pimping women. I just mean like he's a badass
Right.
pimp.
Right.
Okay. Digital Underground.
Oh,
They
okay.
they sing the Humpty Dance.
Sure.
And I got to tell you, I didn't of all the lyrics I read, for some reason I didn't think to look at who sings the song, but it's the guy with the nose thing.
No, I totally get it. Do you remember him in that one movie that was like really weird? They're like in a courthouse and everyone's like stuck in this house from like the 90s. What movie was that?
No.
And he was in.
I don't remember that at all. With the nose?
Yeah.
Oh my god, because that was a prosthetic thing, right? Like I thought it was like a mask he put on.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
But okay, he was in a movie and I remember
That's
him like
funny.
standing in a courthouse and everyone's, I mean, obviously this was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but I'm sure you're right.
I'm going to figure it out.
So Digital Underground from the Humpty Dance. I'm still getting paid. I get laid by the ladies. You know I'm in charge. It's kind of a familiar. So recap. And I put so whoever the dude is in the song. Sorry to whoever that is. He likes money. He likes hanging out with women, and he's kind of a pimp, like a badass pimp.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm seeing a
you seeing a
theme.
theme on the West Coast?
I'm seeing a theme.
Okay, let's switch over to the East Coast now.
Okay.
I only got one example here,
Mm.
so maybe the sample size isn't big enough, but I think it's going to show a clear winner.
Mm-hmm.
East Coast, and I picked Biggie, Notorious B.I.G. from Hypnotize, one of the best songs ever. Pen, call me round 10, have sex on rugs that's Persian, come up to your job. Okay, I had to stop the lyrics there
I
because
understand
it's a
because
haiku.
it's 575.
That was the whole point. I had to boil it down.
Mm-hmm.
So recap.
Sure.
It's a little different order here.
Okay.
But with that said, Biggie likes women first, he brings up, then he likes money, and he's kind of a pimp.
I understand.
So like here's the mind-blowing thing of it. Both groups are carrying the exact same message.
Mm-hmm.
And like they didn't have to have this rivalry. It was just like
No.
they could have just been peace and love, and it's just a shame, and I'm just I don't think there's a lot of that going on right now. I don't follow the news like I used to in the rap
It is
genre.
a shame.
But
so in any of the songs were you able to get down to the real root of the problem? Because I think you could have just
the root of the problem is that there was a lack of communication.
Oh man.
If they would have just
Isn't
listened,
that the root of everyone's problem?
if they would, it was probably ego and a lack of communication. If they
Man.
would have listened to each other's music, they'd realize they have the same values and belief systems.
Yeah.
So hey, but I'm very grateful for both coasts because they have some awesome music.
I'm very grateful
that I
you
still listen to.
Wake up in the middle of the night and think about these things.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't think about the rap battles? All right, that's all I got.
Okay. Thanks, babe. I hope that you could have just helped a lot of people there. Do you think Nelly was like in the middle in St. Louis, like, oh guys,
like trying to find a common ground?
Yeah.
I'd like to think that he
Yeah.
he was. I mean, he didn't seem to like
Going
have a lot of
down,
the like.
baby,
He
down,
didn't
down,
talk a lot of shit on either coast. He was
baby.
just talking about like,
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa, what? Did it
the
now?
Midwest. He's going all over the world and stuff, or all
Yeah.
over the country, but not necessarily talking shit on any part of the country.
No. He was also
He had
maybe
the
a
right
little,
idea.
he was a little bit later though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, history of money.
All right. This is great.
I remember when I was doing the research on this, this is a straight rabbit hole.
Okay.
Okay. I could do 2 full hours on this subject. So it's a lot to unpack
Okay.
the money thing, because here's I'm going to say problem, that's not the right word. The situation is that money started the same pretty much all around the world, and then as countries became countries, it diverged from there. So I could have done Chinese history of money
I see.
and done a ton of that.
That makes sense.
European history of money.
It's kind of hard to generalize it
Oh
all
god, yeah.
into
So
one short segment for a podcast.
right,
I get it.
I don't even want to listen to myself talk for that long. Here's my offer.
Okay.
My offer is that I'm going to do the history of money the way I wrote it. And then if anyone is really, really interested in one particular piece of this, because it is really interesting, I can dive deeper into, how the Mayans made money.
That makes
I'm
sense.
just always going to bring it back to the Mayans and Cleopatra. Okay.
And
So
the Eskimos,
the Eskimos, they had a money system,
for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's why I chose the topic. And I honestly can't tell you why I chose the topic 6 weeks ago or whenever it was that I did the research for this, but I can tell you why I chose to do it for this episode is because in your last episode, you did the history of toilet paper,
That's right.
which was great. Go check it out. And it was just last week, right?
Yeah, that was last week's. Yep.
And you told me,
It was so great that she forgot what week it was. But
I'm
no offense taken.
I'm a mom.
I get it.
I I got shit to do. Okay. I
Understood.
remembered your history.
Yeah, you remembered the topic.
I
You remembered the
remembered the
content,
topic.
just not the time.
I remembered that you told
Let's
me.
strike that comment from the records. I can't believe, it was terrible that I said it.
I'll see if they allow it.
Okay.
Okay. I'll see if the editing gods allow it.
Yeah, true.
So one of the pre-toilet paper ass wiping mechanisms, for lack of a better word, that you said people used, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or if I misunderstood, was shells.
No, that's right. That was
I
definitely
don't even understand how that works.
that was on the list. Me neither. Interestingly enough,
Yeah.
I just thought of this.
Yes.
Do you remember the movie Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone?
No. Do you remember the movie where the guy from the Humpty Dance was in the movie and
I
he
do
was
not.
stuck in a house?
I do not, but mine is relevant to shells.
You know, I'm
Can
a
I
girl,
bring it right back?
I don't watch Sylvester Stallone movies.
Yeah, but it was okay. So
Why?
I mean, this is why it was. I mean, this movie was like fully. First of all, I don't know why I'm going on a topic here, but this movie was like fully integrated with Taco Bell. So I don't know if you remember this, but they actually the movie was referenced in a lot of Taco Bell advertisements, and then in the movie there's like a whole scene in a Taco Bell, and it's like the gourmet restaurant of the future because the movie's shot in the future. Anyways, let's dial it back to the shells.
Okay.
Can we?
I was really waiting.
So God, I hope this is the right movie. It's either this movie or an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Okay.
But
same person,
he
right?
goes, no, no, they would be so mad at you.
Ironically, I have seen Terminator 2.
Yeah. It's definitely not Terminator 2.
Mostly because Eddie Furlong was such a little dreamboat.
So gosh, you know what? I think it's a Schwarzenegger movie.
Okay, whatever.
Okay, regardless, one of the guys in the movie goes into the future, and they use
This is Terminator.
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
He's in like 5 time travel movies, Arnold. So, but he walks into a restroom stall, and there's no toilet paper there. There's just 3 seashells, and he's like, he doesn't know how to use. He doesn't know what they're for, and he
did this in the future or the past?
he went into the future for some reason. So he didn't know it wasn't Judge Dredd now that I'm thinking of it.
Okay.
Or maybe it was. But he didn't know how to use them. He walks out of the stall and then he's like, what's the deal with the seashells? And they just laugh at him. No one ever tells. So the whole movie you go, you have no idea what the seashells are. All right, I'm done.
Okay. Wow.
Back to money.
Wow. I digress. Or you digress?
I
Anyway,
digressed.
so money in its original form was represented as seashells, metal, a piece of paper, or today, in more modern times, a string of code. I was actually thinking about this when I was doing this. I was like, they have all kinds of like books probably on the history of money, and they had to go update them and put that they can be a string of code. Like, who would have ever thought that? You know,
Yeah, that is strange.
it is strange. So, the first form of money. Remember when I asked our kids to guess what the first form of money was, and they
Yeah.
actually got it right. It was bartering.
Mm-hmm. That was good.
Hey, I'll trade my wheat for your corn, or I'll trade my goat and sheep for your daughter. Just
Oh,
kidding.
jeez. Wow.
That's a thing, right?
I mean, I think so. That's the whole. Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, I think that's how it was done.
that's why I think that's traditionally why the husband or the dad of the daughter pays for everything because it's like
Oh, well, look at you.
there's like a word and I cannot think of the word off the top of my head, but it's like
You're going to think of it mid presentation. You
it's
could
kind
just
of
cut me off.
basically what it is here's some stuff. You're gonna marry my daughter. Here's some stuff. Don't come back and ask for money later. You're in charge now. Type of like a handoff.
Okay.
Anyways.
Okay. All right. So the highest commodity thing to barter was not daughters. It was salt
Okay.
because it was, I guess, rare. Like they couldn't get a hold of
Do you
it
know what type of part of the world this was? I'm just curious.
everywhere. Bartering.
Okay.
Where were humans?
Well, the
Where
reason I said that is
where
because
were
salt.
humans 20,000 years ago?
The reason I said that is because like on the coast, you would think that salt wouldn't be that hard to get because it's in salt water.
Well, yeah, okay.
But I understand what you're saying.
Maybe they shipped it. So the earliest coin that we were able to find was in China in 640 BCE.
Wow.
Do you know what that stands for? Remember how last time I
Yeah,
was
because
like,
I was saying BC and you asked
right.
if there was something
So
new. Yeah, they call it BCE now,
before Common Era.
before Common
And
Era,
I was
instead
like,
of before Christ.
right. And I was like, well, what's the difference and when did we switch? We
I'm
didn't.
sure it's like a PC thing.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's the Jews. Let me tell you. So BC before Christ was the naming convention was created in 525. I'm guessing it was that's AD. I don't know after that.
Yeah.
So, but the in the 1700s, Jewish scholars started using BCE.
It makes sense. I could see where that would kind of piss me off too.
Right,
Like
before
what?
Common
Like I don't
Era
believe
and
in.
then Current Era.
It's like I don't believe in this, but I have to reference everything
right
based off it. I could see where that would be.
Yeah.
It'd be annoying.
So call it
So
whichever.
they changed it a long time ago.
They changed it a long time ago.
I thought that was like in our lifetime.
Right. Right. Well, you know how we're getting more and more PC these days.
Yeah, that's probably why I thought.
Right.
It was recent.
Nope, happened a long time ago. Okay.
Thanks for getting me schooled.
Anyway, this Chinese coin was made from stamped pieces of valuable metal such as bronze and copper, and I have a link to like a photo of it that I'll put in the notes because it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
So
I would like to see a picture.
Back to the non-ass wiping seashells. The longest form of currency used in like all of history, even like today, because we haven't really had money or coins that long, is cowry shells. So they're porcelain shells. They're really small, easy to handle. They would make them into like necklaces.
Okay.
And the longer they were, the more valuable they were. And they said that the most valuable was about 6 inches in length.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So different lengths of shells on a string.
Right.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty much.
But you can just make your own money then. Like it would be nice to live on a beach during that time.
Wouldn't that just be like your job all day long?
it's like the print. It's like the treasury. They just print as much as they want.
Right.
All right.
Instead of trying to build the Antikythera mechanism, that guy should have been like trying to find cowrie shells all
But
day
I'm
long.
grateful that he did.
Oh,
I mean, astronomy is important too.
okay.
Man,
Well,
I feel like I just keep getting you off tangent here.
no, his family still thought he was a dead weight. So the shells were found in the Indian Ocean and collected off the places of like Africa and the Maldives, which, oh, we gotta go to
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
the Maldives. Right. So once metals were discovered, they first used the metals to forge them into weapons, and then they realized that these metals were actually had value, and they recognized them as having value. So they from then they started to transform them into like smaller objects that could be traded,
Okay,
and they just basically were just like pieces, like they weren't even necessarily round, just like whatever shape that they could get them
I
into.
gotcha.
Yeah. um so they started to mint the coins with gold as the highest value, and then silver and copper for less value. So kind of like what you would think. Gold's always been the gold
Right.
standard, you know? So probably because it's more rare, probably,
Yeah,
I guess. So today we don't coins aren't valued for gold, silver, copper. They're valued for whatever intrinsic value we put on it, like 5, 10, 1.
right.
So
They're not backed by gold, I guess.
they are not backed by gold. Very, very true.
Nowadays.
Not anymore. So you might want to ask yourself, well, when did we start putting things on coins? You know, like stamping them with stuff. And
Yeah,
why did we first decide to do that? And who was the first one to do it?
that is
Who do you think?
that first coin didn't have anything on it. The one that they found in China.
Nope.
Okay. Somebody with an ego wanted to put their face on a coin.
Of course.
I don't know who that would be
Oh
though.
God, the ego of all egos, Julius Caesar, the
Oh,
Roman.
okay.
So in 500 BC or BCE, whether you're trying to be politically correct or not, the first coin was minted that had Julius Caesar's face on it. And I also have a link to that. He was not the one, though, that hooked up with Cleopatra. I still need to figure out who that was.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
I could just ask Alexa, but that's doesn't seem as
Wait,
fun.
isn't Cleopatra like wasn't she in Egypt?
She's Egyptian, but I keep
So why
you don't listen
why
to
would
me. I keep
Julius
talking about the
Caesar?
Roman guy that hooked up with Cleopatra.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know any. I'm not familiar
It
with that
was
part of
not
history.
Julius Caesar. One of his descendants, probably. Anyway, so you remember Charlemagne?
Well, the name.
Right. I literally couldn't tell you a single fact about
Me
him,
neither.
but I definitely
Somewhere in history class, I remember that name though.
he probably did something real cool besides what I'm about ready to say. I just don't know what it is.
Sure,
We'll
it's a
have
show. It's another show.
it's another podcast. So in 800 AD or BC, wait, yeah, no, CE, Common Era.
Common Era.
He issued the first silver penny, and it became the standard in Western Europe from 794 to 1200 AD.
All
So
right,
that was like the longest issued, like longest penny.
that's cool.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that seems pretty significant. I wouldn't, even if he had nothing else that he did, that's still really cool.
I'm sure he did it.
Oh, I'm sure he
There's
had.
no way I know his name
Yeah,
because he
I'm
issued
sure
a
he did a
penny.
lot of stuff, but I was
Right.
just saying I didn't want to, for his descendants that are still out there, I didn't want to diminish his specialness by saying that.
If someone ever came up to me and said, I'm a descendant of Charlemagne, I'd be like, all right.
Just say, that's really cool what he did with the penny.
Okay.
And then say, amongst other things. And
amongst the many other things.
And then say, what were those other things again? Okay.
So in the 13th century, I'm sure you've heard of the shilling and the pound.
Yes.
Became widely used as larger amounts for pennies, probably as inflation kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and the first paper money was created in 700 AD in China, but it wasn't like, don't think of it as like money we have today that has like a dollar, $5 on it. It was like promissory notes. Like, I promise to pay you this amount of money, and it was like held value.
Okay, so they're like it's like credit card slips,
Yeah,
kind of.
kind of. Okay, so again, this is where I could have started to go down the rabbit hole that I'm not going to go down.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to switch to the American history of money, because basically from this time on, everyone starts to kind of get their own banks and currency
Okay.
system. Okay, so
Can I stop you for 1 second?
yeah.
Did you happen to see, and I only know this because I saw like a show about it. Did you happen to see that there's an island where they used these like huge disc rocks that are not mobile, and they use that as currency. They
Uh,
used it as currency. So like
but like
you could be,
whoever's sitting on it has the value. I don't get it.
it's crazy. We should do another show on it. It's so weird. Like the people, like
Island where?
I don't know.
Oh,
There's an island, and I can't remember like what time period or anything, but there's these rock rings, and they like those are the current. That's the currency. I
today.
don't know how they. I don't even know if it's today or in the history. Like
Okay.
it's just like I just remember thinking like it's so wild because you don't move the stuff. It's just there. So like yeah, you'd be walking down the street and be like, that one's mine.
I
That
know.
one's Bob's. That one's all right.
Okay.
I'm not being helpful because I don't know anything about it, but it,
That's about
it was interesting
as
though.
much information as I gave you on the Humpty Dance movie
Yeah, right.
earlier.
So it's okay, is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's kind of like you have little bits of pieces of information in the forefront of your brain. You can't quite
Yeah,
reach back and
because there's
grab.
other stuff in the way that we do that
Uh,
we're taking it up with.
right, 100%.
Okay,
Okay,
American history money. Got
so
it.
American history money. In 1690, the first paper currency is born. Okay, so and here's how it was created. So I have to read this name. Governor William Phipps
Okay.
of Britain's Massachusetts Bay Colony promised his volunteer soldiers all of the loot that they were able to capture when they raided Quebec City.
Okay.
He's like, "Hey, let's go." Why were we raiding Quebec? Anyway,
Right.
whatever. That's probably a totally different story.
Was that French and American War?
I
Who
right?
knows?
I don't know. Were they French back then? I don't even know. Anyway, um, so there was a coin shortage and he couldn't pay the people. So he was like, hey, come fight and we'll take all the loot that we get from this. Well, they lost. But before I do have a link that I'll put in the bottom of like the note that was written, and I forgot to put it here, but it was like funny, like I'll pay you, it didn't say that, but it was very formal,
I got you.
back then. But I'll link to it. So they lost. They were not able to capture
That's
Quebec
sad.
City, which makes sense.
He had
It's
a
not
lot of
part of
he had a
America.
lot of
So
mad soldiers.
so to avoid a mutiny,
Sure. I can imagine.
they ordered a limited amount of government-backed paper currency
Cool.
to pay the soldiers. So, following that incident, a law was passed removing the limit on how much currency could be printed at a time. So now we just print whatever we want,
Sure feels like it.
right? Oh, you need money, just print more. So up until 1775, the soon to be called Americas, we used English, Scottish, French money, just kind of like all over the place.
Okay.
So during the Revolutionary War, the Continental Congress issued a common currency to, like I'm going to say, a new currency of our own to fund the war. And we've been in debt ever since. I'm just kidding.
Pretty much. No, that is funny. I thought that was real. That's why I didn't laugh because it just made sense to me.
We've been in debt.
Is that when that ticker started? That
Right.
was in.
Right.
It's on Wall Street that says our national debt.
Could you go back in time and look at what it was at like 1770?
I'm sure there's somebody that has an economist has figured it out. But
So Paul Revere, the guy's everywhere.
yeah.
Right? He made the very first plates for the new continental currency.
Cool.
Yeah. I actually don't know. Dang it. I don't know what was put on them. So bummer.
Yeah,
So,
it's okay.
so at this time, there was about 1,600 banks all over these, I guess, Americas, and all of them used and designed their own money.
Okay.
And I was just like,
That seems really complicated.
complicated. And don't you think there was just like a shit ton of counterfeiting going on?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I got this money from the bank.
Yeah, good point.
Like, how do you know?
Yeah, they would never know.
You would
Like,
never know.
yeah, this bank was over here in this state, and they're like, I
Yeah,
guess I'll take your word for it. It's
sure.
just like napkins.
Right. So in 1914, wasn't that long ago, the Federal Reserve established and became the only currency that's allowed to
Cool.
only place that's allowed to manufacture currency. It doesn't seem that long ago.
No, it doesn't.
And then we had the Great Depression. Is that why? I don't know.
No.
No. All right, fine. Okay. That's actually the last thing I have.
That was really cool.
No. I have some interesting facts about money. It's just like random facts
Okay.
that I thought were funny while I was doing this, and I hope funny, interesting and funny.
All right.
So I hope everyone agrees. So it costs more than a penny to make a penny.
That's insane.
It costs 2.4 cents, pennies, whatever you want to call them, and a nickel costs 7.5 cents to make.
Seems illogical.
Why? Why are we doing this?
I guess that's probably why we're moving towards electronic.
So
that's crazy. That's got to be one of the reasons why. And nobody wants to carry around a penny. You can't use it for anything.
no, I literally just drop them sometimes. Okay, I have a fact here. It says producing these coins costs the taxpayer an extra 115 a year, but I think
115 what?
That's my point.
Oh.
I don't know why. I get a million,
No, it's good.
a billion, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I shouldn't have.
Can you write me an apology? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'll write everyone an apology letter. This is.
Do you want to put that in there for real? without the.
I'll put a note in the bottom that says how much we are paying to create pennies and nickels that cost more than the earth. Okay, does that satisfy?
Yeah, I'd cut it out, but that's fine.
Okay,
you're the editor.
Oh, we'll leave it up to the editor, ads.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Okay, nickels used to be half the size of dimes. Do you know how small a dime is?
Yeah, that's really small.
And they were called half dimes. They were made with half as much silver, but were easy to lose. So they changed them to be made out of nickel.
Okay, so I always thought it was stupid that, like, because when you're a kid and you're learning about money,
yeah,
like logically you're like, okay, here's a penny, and it's a different color, so that's I understand. Then you've got like this small dime, and then a nickel. So if you're like putting them in order,
nickel's like thick.
You think that a nickel is going to be more expensive than a dime.
Yeah,
and it's like a mind fuck when you're a little kid.
It's a real mind fuck.
It's like we lie to them about Santa Claus, and then we lie to them about like
just trying to confuse them.
Yeah, so that makes sense though.
Grown-ups,
because it was literally getting lost so much they decided to make it bigger.
Nickels are also more expensive to make than dimes.
This is just stupid. I had no idea how dumb it was.
Okay, here's something even stupider.
Okay.
More stupid?
Sure. Yeah. So both of them sound good to me. I'm good. I answered either of those, stupider or more stupid.
Decommissioned money. First of all, what's decommissioned money? Like why
That's when I think I know what that is. That's when they like bills and stuff that are like really worn down, and they'll like take them out of circulation and then like destroy it.
Okay, here's how they destroy it. Is composited with a farm in Delaware mulching 4 tons a day.
Wow. So yeah, they just shred it up and then they mulch.
Don't you think some people are skimming some of that other stuff?
There's definitely, you know what else who was skimming? Before you told me they lost that battle, yeah. I was going to say, how often don't you think the soldiers skimmed some off the top before they brought it home?
Not in that instance.
All right.
But what? Someone's carrying all this money that's going to be mulched anyway. Like, who's keeping an inventory on
Sure,
that?
sure. I would hope that they watch that, but you're totally right. Who's watching the people that watch it?
we
Just
we are
saying.
very cynical people.
But I mean, people do some bad stuff
Right.
sometimes. So,
We've been conditioned. Like the Cowboys have conditioned me, people have conditioned me to assume that they're not
and when
going
you
to be
say
honest.
cowboys, you mean
The
like
Dallas Cowboys.
so not guys and gals that are riding
No,
horses.
horses.
Got it. Just wanted to clear that up.
There was once $100,000 bill
Wow. In the United
in
States.
the this. Yes,
All this is United States. This is crazy. I can't believe I've never
between
heard that.
the weirdest thing to me was that it was between 1934 and 1935.
Okay,
Wasn't
so
that the
1 year.
wasn't that the Great Depression? Why did we need a hundred
I don't
thousand
know.
dollar
You
bill?
quote the Great Depression a lot, though. So
I'm talking about money.
I know, but I don't know when that was. So
Oh, I think it was
somewhere around there.
1929 to 1930. Nine.
Okay, around that time though. So
Yeah.
you're right. That is very strange.
Right. The largest denomination ever printed was in Hungary. And I'm going to tell you what this denomination was, but I have no, like, this equals
Okay.
this. Worth 100 quintillion pengos.
So you don't have the
Pengoes.
so you don't have the pagones or pengos to
Penguins?
dollar
No,
ratio. Okay.
no.
All right.
Eh.
Do they have all those zeros on there?
Ah, no. Quintillion. No. The grooves of your corn, of
A
your
quintillion would be it's billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion.
mm-hmm,
So that many zeros.
mm-hmm. Can I get change for this? The grooves on your coin are there for a reason.
Okay.
Okay. They are so people did not scrape off the coin faces to sell them as precious metals.
Interesting.
Why do they care?
I don't understand that, but I could see where it would prevent you from scraping.
Yeah.
The whole like selling it though. I don't. Is that made out of a different metal? I don't think so, right? They're stamped. More to be researched there.
Oh, here's back to my counterfeit
Okay.
comment. Between 1/3 to half of all money during the Civil War was counterfeit, which is what created the Secret Service.
Okay. That's insane.
I know.
You got some. These are great facts.
Well, it makes sense though, because if banks were just creating their own
Yeah.
money, like
Absolutely.
the first ATM launched in 1967 in London.
67. Wow.
I
Good
know.
for them. I bet people were like, "You're insane. You're just putting like money out here for people to."
Yeah.
And then here we are.
And how did they put cards in back? Like, how did they get
It had to have been, yeah, something different than a card, right?
Weird. Piggy banks originated from the PYGG, a clay used for making jars that held money.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's a really old thing. I actually think you know this one, and you said it to me one time, and I got really annoyed because then I couldn't blow you away with this fact.
Okay.
But there is an ATM in Antarctica.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
Or if I did, it was forgotten.
Okay. What did you tell me about Antarctica then the other day?
No idea. I don't remember that.
The word cash originated in ancient China, where a bundle of 100 coins was called one cash.
Okay.
The next three or four are just like a whole bunch of where words originated from, which I always find fascinating.
Yeah.
The word cent is derived from the Latin centum, meaning 100.
Okay.
Okay. The term cash cow originated from early forms of currency in the form of livestock. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Because they're expensive.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The slang buck comes from times before paper money when Americans would trade buck animals for goods and services.
What's a buck animal? Sorry, I just.
The word
cut that part.
salary originates from the use of salt for payment employers in
Okay, that
services
is
rendered.
insane. Which ties it back to what you were just
It
saying
all comes
about
back.
salt
No living person can have their face on currency.
in the United States.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The next one I know you know, and I was also annoyed when you told me this one. 85 to 95% of paper money contains traces of cocaine.
I did tell you that. I said I didn't give you the percentage, but I remember hearing that it was a huge percentage. It's so strange.
Right.
How does that happen? I wonder if that's still real. But
The US officially adopted the dollar as its currency in 1785. And my last one, I'm not even sure if it's the best. It's just my last one. I didn't order these in like a wow factor. The motto of the first US coin was mind your business.
that's awesome.
That's it. That's history of money.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. I learned that it would have really paid off to live on the beach because you have the shells and the salt.
Yeah.
It's
But then you would have been like dead by now and not
yeah,
have like Spotify and
yeah. We have a lot of good
yeah.
stuff here, so
Okay.
I understand.
I already forgot what yours is about.
It's solving problems or
Solving
getting ideas in your sleep.
Okay.
And I thought here's the train here.
Okay. Yes.
So you told me yours is a history of money. Financial problems are stressful. I had read an article like a couple months ago and it said that 62%, 60%, something like 60 or 62% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, your thing made me think of like, I need to come up with a get rich quick scheme. Because like who wants to be in the rat race?
So did you?
No, but then I was
Oh.
like, how can I do that? Because and I it was more than that. I was like, I don't want to work at it. I just
Mhm.
want to come up with it. You know, like a lot of people have.
Right.
Here's an idea. I should be rich, but they don't really do anything.
There's thousands of books
Yeah.
about that.
So I didn't want to work, and so I was like, well, maybe I can come up with an idea in my sleep
Okay.
because I've heard that
Let me know. Keep me posted.
yeah, and for me personally, I have it's weird. Like I've worked like if I'm working on a spreadsheet, I don't really work in Excel as much anymore, but an Excel spreadsheet where there's like a lot of data and I had to like crunch it certain ways, and I had it set up, and then at night I would let's think of a better way to do it or like
100.
a different formula.
100%.
And then I would go into work and fix it, and I was just like, wow, that's so crazy because I think it's like mulling around in your,
I
you
think
know.
I think I've even told you before. I well, I used to be a SQL developer. I used to
Mm-hmm.
like write code and like build reporting. Um, and I would have a problem with not being able to figure out how to grab like the data the fastest or link tables or make something more intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I several times would come up with it in my sleep. And sometimes I would just get up because I worked from home. I would get up and go walk down to my computer and just do it.
This is a fantastic segue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so good job. Because I mean, it just shows there's something there, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're not the only two people.
No.
And this is weird. And I hate to talk about Zelda again because I'm really not trying to. It makes it sound like all I do is play Zelda. But like when I was a kid,
Just during Dallas Cowboys football games.
yeah, when I was a kid on my Nintendo 64, there was Ocarina of Time.
Are you bragging now because you had a Nintendo 64 and I didn't?
I didn't even know you played video games.
I don't.
Okay, so so you can take it as a brag, but it would be pretty ineffective on my part to brag about that. So Ocarina of Time, I remember there were times where I was like, and you couldn't just look up on the internet like, oh, how do you beat this? Like there was like a Nintendo Power magazine, but who's gonna go buy that? And would it even have an article about that problem?
Now you can just
And
cheat it.
at night, I would like think about. It was a pretty like puzzle oriented game, right? So it was puzzly, not like shooting and all that stuff. And I would think about like, oh, I didn't go in that room and do this, and I would wake up and try it, and it would like work like a lot of the time, and it was insane. I must have been thinking about it like nonstop, but kids
I
don't.
lied. I did play video games.
Why would you lie to me? That's so hurtful.
Don't you remember I told you that I
I know
I
you
played
played.
King's Quest
Oh, that's
and I
right.
used to build the maps like on the piece of paper, like
Yeah.
where they used to go, and I played Leisure Suit Larry in the Land of the
Okay, now
Lounge
that's
Lizards.
messed up because
Right.
that's like a game not for
I
kids.
know. They used to have to make you answer questions to be able to get into the game. Do you remember? You didn't
I
play.
never played it.
Okay. So
I heard about it. I never played it.
you used to have to answer questions, and I used to have to call my dad downstairs and be like, "Dad,
He's like, no problem. Here you go.
help me." It was like I remember one of the questions always popped up was like about the Beatles and like some song, and he would just like
Oh, to make sure it was from a certain
to
time
make
period.
sure that I was old enough because I
That is
wouldn't because
funny.
you couldn't go Google the questions back then.
Right.
You either knew them or you didn't.
Right.
So my dad would come and answer the questions for me, and I would play Leisure Suit Larry in the Land of the Lounge Lizards.
That's really messed up, to be honest with you.
I turned out to be okay.
Yeah, you did. So there's like, anyways, there's applications.
Mm-hmm.
So here's something, just an interesting fact about this topic. Okay. Thomas Edison, the inventor, is said to have napped while holding a ball in each hand, presuming that as he fell asleep, the balls would fall to the floor and wake him. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so he did that because he remembered all sorts of things that came as he was like nodding off to sleep, or like in that between sleep state before deep sleep, and he wanted to wake up because you normally would just fall asleep, right? But he wanted to wake up and then like write down what he was thinking about and actually capture that. I thought that was really cool because
So
you know
did he sleep?
well, yeah, but like that's where he would get some of
Brilliant
his
people are
ideas.
just so interesting.
Lots, and there's a lot of people that have done that that are smart people in different ways. So sleep researchers now suggest that Edison was onto something. All right, so I took a lot of this information from I'm going to give you the it's a study published on
Oh, it
this.
wasn't Wikipedia? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like when it's Wikipedia, I feel like I don't really need to give people credit,
No.
but like this was like this like
Okay.
really smart scientist, so I figured
I can link to it, but
yeah,
yeah,
and I think we should because
give him credit.
she did a lot of work.
Huh. I
And
like that
well,
it's
her and her
a
team.
uh-huh.
So it's a study published on December 10th, 2021, so pretty recently.
Yeah.
By Science Advances, Volume 7, Issue 50, okay? All right, so it reported that we have brief period of creativity and insight in the semi-lucid state that occurs just as we begin to drift into sleep. Okay? A sleep phase called N1 or non-rapid eye movement sleep stage. So we always hear of rapid eye movement, REM sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is non-rapid eye movement. And then it's N1 is the nickname for it.
Okay.
So the findings imply that if we can harness that liminal haze between the two sleeps, we can. It's known as a hypnagogic state.
Sure.
Oh, I'm so sorry. We might recall our bright ideas more easily. Okay. So
is that why when you wake up from REM sleep, suddenly you remember your dreams better?
Well, that's REM. Maybe that's REM sleep though. So they're talking about that period before you get there.
Okay.
There's a lot of studies out there. So this one, the one that I was reading the most of is just like it's the period right between that liminal stage.
So it's not dream
between the two before you start those like heavy duty dreams.
Right.
Although there is some evidence, and I don't even write about it here, that there's those dreams like can be interpreted to help you be more creative and solve problems.
Do you ever have semi lucid sleep state where you are trying to work, like perform your job?
Only, this is going to sound really strange, only if I'm running a fever.
Whoa.
If I'm sick, getting sick, or running a fever. Usually if I'm getting sick or running a fever, I have, and this may be not what you're talking about, but I have dreams that I'm doing things that are very mundane. Mundane? Is it mundane?
I don't just say
very
mundane. It's endearing.
And it could be work,
just like
or like
safe
a dream about school, or like something where I'm doing the same thing over and over and over, and it's like borderline not a fun dream, but it's also not a nightmare.
It's almost,
is that what you're talking about?
It's almost torture.
Yeah.
I will be asleep I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to perform my job,
Okay.
and I have to keep reminding myself that I'm asleep and I don't have to do this.
The only way for me to get out of that is if I stand up, or if I wake myself up 100% and like go on my phone,
Yeah.
or I stand up, get a drink of water, come back. I have to
I
like
should
remove myself from the situation.
I
Isn't
should
that weird?
I should try doing that. I hate it.
We should try and look at what
But there's
causes
no
that too.
creativity happening
No, no,
there.
that's different.
Okay, so sorry.
For
That's
me,
not what your
no,
thing
no,
is
that's,
about.
but
But sleep is
it
fascinating to
is
me.
so interesting. Yeah. And that happens to me too. So we can't be the only ones, right? So inspired by Edison, Delphine Ouidet of Paris, of the Paris Brain Institute, and I hope I got her name right, and her colleagues presented 103 participants with mathematical problems that had a hidden rule that allowed them to solve the problem faster. So the rule was hidden though, and they didn't tell the people. Okay. 16 people right off the bat, they looked at the problems and they're like, oh, here's a rule. And we can just use that. They got them out of the study. Because the study was to see how if people could solve the
Yeah.
problems. They had already solved
Mm-hmm.
it. And I didn't look at what the math was, but it's in if anybody's interested, this link that she'll put in there will show you like the all of the mechanics behind the study.
Okay.
The rest were given a 20-minute break period and asked to relax in a reclined position while holding a drinking glass. And the chair wasn't like it wasn't laying down all the way. It was, think of it like a lazy boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Holding a drink glass in their right hand. If it fell, then they were asked to report what they had been thinking prior to letting go. You following me here so far?
Mm-hmm. I am.
Throughout the break, subjects underwent, or I'm sorry, throughout the study, subjects underwent polysomnography. Polysomnography. You're not going to ask me what it is?
I mean, I was just hoping you were going to tell
Okay.
me.
Usually you ask me it and then I don't know the answer, so I was kind of hoping you'd ask so I could tell you the answer.
Okay. What is
Oh, it's funny you should ask.
I can break down all those words, poly, sub, and what was the last word?
Somnography. It's a technology that monitors eye, brain, and muscle activity to assess a person's state of wakefulness. So basically, it monitors your brain
Okay.
and like your face and stuff like that. This helped to determine which subjects were awake rather than in N1 or if they were in N2.
I don't think in 20 minutes I could get into any sort of sleep state.
Oh
You
man,
could.
I could not.
I know
I could
could.
be in dead sleep in 20 minutes. It just
Right.
depends. But
I'm so jealous of you.
I absolutely know exactly what they're talking about. You know when you're like you're sleeping and then you get the like
Yes.
shake and it's like an electrical thing in your body. That's kind of where when I am having these like that lucid state. So so they're doing that to make sure, like just because the test person was saying they're asleep or in N1 or N2, it's kind of hard for people to understand exactly where they're at. So they wanted to put some more data points up to what the person was actually saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those who, or after the break, the study subjects were presented with the math problems again.
What if you just suck at math?
They don't have a section about that.
Okay.
So.
All right. Because there are some math
Maybe
problems you could give me that no amount of sleep.
I think it's still valid though.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's like they had 100 and let's see, it was 100 and 103 participants minus 16. So those who had dozed into N1 were nearly 3 times more likely to crack the hidden rule as the others who stayed awake through the whole experiment, and nearly 6 times more likely to do so as people who had slipped into N2. So it was like if you just hit that N1 and you drop that water glass and you started on the math problems again, or you take a break, you start on the math problems, you're 6 times more likely than the other people. If you went into the next phase of sleep, you're still, and then drop the water glass, you're still 3 times more likely.
Okay.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So this eureka moment, as the authors called it, did not occur immediately. Rather, it happened after many subsequent attempts to solve the math problem, which is consistent with the previous research on insight and sleep. So it took a little bit of time, but when they hit these certain states, they were more likely or less likely. And I actually thought the study was kind of cool because you could do this at home and you don't have to you could do like the Edison version. You don't want to drop a glass of water and break it, right? But like you could drop anything.
Oh,
You
you
just
use
kind
a
of hold it,
ball.
just kind of hold it out off to the side.
How do you know when you drop the ball though? Like
You have
someone
to
have to
make it
be
loud. It has to be loud. So
okay.
there was somebody that said use a key and drop it onto like a piece of like onto a hard floor, or
Mm-hmm.
like so it makes like a clank noise.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so easy to do the test, right?
Yeah.
If you're bored.
Next time you have a problem, I'm just gonna tell you to go take a nap.
There's a joke there that I was gonna make. I was gonna say, so you can't be mad at me if I want to go take a nap.
I'm not ever mad at
I
you.
know, but you know, a
Yeah.
lazy guy taking a nap thing. So,
No, sure.
but you came up with the idea for me. All right. From the article, despite its reputation as the brain's period of shutting off, sleep is neurologically speaking an incredibly active process. Let me proceed.
Okay.
Brain cells fire by the billions, help us to reactivate and store memories, and it seems allows us to conjure our mental creations. At the time of the article, she and her team had plans to further study the potential of brain-computer interfaces to precisely identify brain wave patterns associated with the onset of sleep. So basically what that means is, because that's a lot of words,
Uh-huh.
they were, and I don't know if she did this because the study was in 2000, this one was in 2021. At the end of the study, she said, here's some further things we want to do. They were going to basically see like what's the exact right moment to be woken up to get the most benefit from this. And
Okay.
and it's just interesting because ultimately if they could figure that out, then they could figure out like, are people going to like set alarms? And you know what I mean? It could get real
Yeah.
nuts. Like,
Well, but doesn't
can an
it
Apple Watch
but
like
like you also
wake
have
you
to
up?
know how long it takes you to get to that state. Because like for me, it takes
Yeah.
longer
So
for
that's
me than it does for you.
right. It'd probably be different for every person. I see what you're saying, but it's cool research. They were
Mm-hmm.
also going to look at like different sounds that could be played while you're reaching these sleep states to see if that
Okay.
affected it. Because they think,
COVID probably messed up that research. They wanted to do that piece, but
well,
then
yeah,
COVID.
COVID was or before the.
Well, if the research was finished in 2021, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I was. You're right. Because I was
Mm,
still kind of
yeah.
COVID time. You think they were like, well,
Well,
fuck, we
fuck.
gotta
Yeah.
send all these people home
Yeah.
or cancel. All right. So that's pretty much it.
It's interesting. So, what's your takeaway?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna. I don't know that I'll
I'm
do
not
the.
asking you to do anything. I mean, like, what did you learn from the article? Like,
I was about to tell you. I don't think you're. I don't think you're telling me to do anything. I think if I have like a problem at work or like something I need to solve or
you
like
got a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check
check
out
out the
the
hook
hook
while
when
my
my
DJ
DJ
revolves
revolves.
it.
I'm
We should do a
sorry.
haiku. We should do a haiku on that.
There's no way I
I have
couldn't.
no idea what Coast Vanilla Ice is from. What's his last name? Van Winkle or something?
Yeah, something like
It's
that.
like a Dutch type name. But I think I will. I'm not going to do the experiment, but I think I'd like actually think about it a little more right before bed and just
Yeah.
see. You never. I mean, what harm could it do? I know it's helped me do other things in the past. So
I was thinking we should sleep with a notepad
that's a really great idea.
by the bed.
Because how often do you wake up and you're like, that was interesting,
That
and you
was
forget like
interesting.
2 seconds later you forget. That
Yeah.
happens to me all the time.
We could do
So
some great podcast episodes off that.
all right.
Okay, so that's your
So
takeaway.
I do have an action now.
Ah, great. I love it when you have an action item.
I know. I know.
That was so interesting.
All right. Yours was too.
Thanks, babe.
You're very welcome.
Do you think they liked it?
Maybe. Doesn't matter.
No.
Okay.
All right, leave a comment. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you all for listening. That's a wrap for today. Remember, this is not just a podcast, it's an interactive experience. If you've got a burning topic you want us to try and butcher next, drop it in the comments below. And if we pick your brainchild, you might just find yourself sitting in the hot seat as our honorary guest host. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode and follow us on all of our listening platforms. Until next time, stay curious.